Yavapai Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers and Cliff Castle Casino.
Good morning. Welcome to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition. Jason Little here, Recreation Manager for the City of Cottonwood. With me today I have Hezekiah J. Allen. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Any better couldn't stand it.
Great to have you on the show. Sorry the show will be a little lighter. I've been working with Hez now for the past month. I think, 6 days a week? Because we've just finished up all of our special events. And today we're going to talk about our third and final large special event that's coming up rapidly, and that's why we wanted to get the information out to you guys in October so we could hopefully get enough run time to get the word out about the show. Walkin on Main is what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get into Walkin on Main, Hez, how was it?
The big shows?
The big shows.
Well, I think we survived. We're still here, so that's good. They were great. Lou Graham, I think, surprised all of us because he showed up. You know, those older bands and the older acts are like, I hope they still have it. I hope they can still sing. It's always kind of a crapshoot. But Lou got up there and just rocked it. And I remember sitting at the front of the stage at one point in time and Jukebox Hero was playing. And I felt like I was back in the 70s or 80s whenever he played because everybody was screaming, Jukebox Hero, the whole song.
Your dad with long hair, my dad with long hair.
Exactly, exactly. It was a time warp.
It was a time warp. That's for sure. So how were the numbers? Well, I mean, did a lot of people turn out for TVR and R&R?
Large group turned out. Number-wise, you know, we estimate 2,000 to 3,000, somewhere in there. Bottom line is people had a blast coming to it. It cost the city a minimum amount for what was actually the program delivered.
Now that's who you're talking to.
What's that?
If we had Mr. Rodriguez on here, I don't know if he'd agree with minimal.
I know. Can we scratch that from the last segment?
Ryan, take that out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
it was an enjoyable show. People had fun. The rib vendors did well. They distributed a lot of samples. All the acts did great. Lori McDonald was excellent. The Christopher Robin Band was good. The Tom Petty Tribute Band was great. And then obviously Lou Graham delivered at the end.
I saw front page of the paper, Hog Wild pointing up in the air.
What was he pointing at?
Yeah, I don't know who he was pointing at. But anyway.
Yeah, I think he was thinking God.
Yeah, he might have been. But anyway, I take it, I know we didn't have Judge's Choice. Did they win People's Choice?
They won People's Choice. We didn't have Judge's Choice this year. People's Choice was Hog Wild first place and then Nate's Cowboy Cafe for second place. And both those guys they're great competitors, but they also have a lot of sportsmanship. You know, Nate was helping Hog Wild out, Hog Wild was helping Nate's out, and that was great this year. The camaraderie between the rib vendors was excellent.
Now, I was at the turnstile at the front, so I didn't get to be at the front of the stage when they played Jukebox Hero to get my time warp. But all day, numbers were steady, had a good crowd coming in. What do you think, 2,500 people? I mean, there was a lot of people there.
I think easily that amount of people. And then it was funny because you kind of hear after the show, everybody's saying, I could hear it great at my yard too. It was like I was at the concert, but didn't have to be there. It's kind of like July 4th, where everybody's sitting on their roof and watching the fireworks, but they're not actually at the site. Right. So
we tried to listen, and if people have a good idea, we'll look at it, evaluate it, and if powers to be, general managers, city managers, they deem it a good idea, they'll provide funding. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago, Councilman Terrence Pratt came up to us, had an idea. Walkin on Main.
Yeah.
So what was the concept behind it?
Walkin on Main, you know, when Terrence approached us, we had not really ventured down the cultural and exploring what the Verde Valley has to offer as far as art, wine, history, music. So when Terrence approached us, he asked us if we can kind of explore something along those lines. So we kind of pulled together a little ad hoc committee that helped formulate an idea of what Walkin.
You and me? Was that the...
Yep.
Continue.
Exactly. And from that point, the general concept was, well, let's put a program together that celebrates the Verde Valley, what we have to offer. we want to bring people from Flagstaff, bring people from Phoenix, bring people from the Southwest to explore this area. We're right in the middle of the state. We have, in my opinion, the best weather, the best views. How can we get people here and showcase that? So the idea was Walkin on Main, 89A to historic route. That area of Old Town is actually deemed a historic district. So the concept was, well, let's put it right there. It's called Walkin on Main. Let's have a juried art show, the historic booths from all the historic areas around the Verde Valley, music, car shows, and then they can explore up and down through Old Town to see the great shops and restaurants we have.
I got to do it to you, Hezekiah.
Do it.
Where is the geographical center of Arizona? Is it Camp Verde or is it Cottonwood?
Man. Is there a prize if I get this right?
Nah, there's no prize. No. And you don't have to answer that, just throwing it out there.
How about I-17, because it's in the middle?
It's right in the middle. I'll go with that. Okay. How many years have you been doing Walkin on Main?
This is our 4th year. 2008, we started it. And that's when kind of Terrence approached us and said, you know, how can we do this, explore some options.
Date and time?
It's November 10th from 11 to 5. This is one of those nice events where it's not an all-day pounded out session. You can sleep in a little bit, show up to the program, have fun. The program itself is actually free to attend, so you don't have to come with bearing your wallet. I'm sure the Old Town vendors would like you to do that, so if you want to, feel free. But the event itself is free. The only thing you pay for is a wine tasting if you want to partake in that.
What's the layout of the event? I really like the way we've developed and set up the layout for the event. Can you explain it briefly to the audience?
This is our 4th year, so we've had kind of a little trial and error time. The layout of the program, as soon as you come down to Old Town, obviously you have the tavern on your left, their parking lot there, Red Rooster on your right. Right there we have a big 40 by 40 tent with the first group of artists. And then right after that is the wine tasting area. It's a roped off area that we usually have 7, 8 wineries there. And then you'll pay the Verde Valley Wine Consortium to come in, partake in that. After that is a historic booth down the center of the street. And then there's another artist tent, and on farther down is the historic car show.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, all that, and then there's a stage right in front of the vineyard.
I was waiting on you to throw stage in there.
Sorry.
I know a lot of people know, but maybe for someone who's just on a treadmill right now and they're new to the area, what's the history behind 89A?
89A, and this is from what I've gathered from locals.
Or historic 89, I guess it would be.
Yeah, from talking, from doing a little research and stuff. 89A originally was a Indian trade route from north of Arizona to South Arizona. It's kind of the only way to get from north to south. And then from there in 1927, it was deemed State Route 79 by the Arizona Department of Transportation. By 1929, the highway had been extended from North Sedona all the way to Flagstaff at that time. And then there's some kind of history that goes back and forth, 89 to 89A and that kind of stuff. So 89A it's kind of our Route 66 in Arizona. So we kind of felt it necessary to celebrate that, and especially with this area where Jerome and Sedona and Flagstaff and Cottonwood was kind of the mecca of 89A.
What artists and organizations will be displaying this year?
It's a great question. We're kind of lucky in this area because artists seem to flock here. You can walk out your front door and look at the landscape and topography and go, okay, there's my inspiration. So we have artist associations like El Valle, NAS, Camp Verde Artisans, Jerome Co-op. We also have galleries that get involved, the Pat Mannheim Gallery. We have some excellent local artists that sign up to do it by themselves, like Levi Fitch. He's a wonderful sculptor. So like I said, and we're lucky in this area because we have a plethora of artists between Jerome, Sedona, Cottonwood area. So we were able to really produce in that area.
There you go. You heard it straight from Mr. Allen. 2 things. There's a plethora of artists there, and the geographic center of Arizona is I-17. Anyway, we're going to go to our first break. We'll see you when you come back.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Welcome back to the show. This morning you're watching Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition. Jason Little, Recreation Manager with the City of Cottonwood. And with me today, you've already met him once, Mr. Hezekiah J. Allen. Welcome back to the show, Hezekiah.
Thank you.
We were talking about some of the artist organizations. You mentioned Mr. Fitch in particular, El Valle, all of those people. It's more than just about the artist. You also have historic booths. To give us an idea of some of the historic booths that will be on site for the Walkin' on Main event.
We go to kind of the federal and then the state-ran parks, historic societies in our area to, like I said, showcase what the Verde Valley has to offer. So, you know, we have Tuzagut there, Montezuma as well, and then each one of the communities has their own historic society. So we also get them, and they bring the information on how their specific area of the Verde Valley was settled, how it became involved with the Verde Valley, how it grew, the people that lived there. And a lot of times they bring unique stories of families that have been here for generations and generations. And we all know, because most of us are transplants in the state of Arizona, that those stories of those people that first came here are pretty interesting. You know, I think more so than the ones that came over and kind of settled the Midwest and the North, because they were trouncing on completely new ground and going out on a limb when they came out here. So it's pretty interesting if you go around to those booths and kind of listen to what they have to say.
Depending on who you talk to, there's pros and cons, there's people for and against. But why do we shut down the street for Old Town? For the event? It's
a great question. And a lot of people, it kind of throws off their routine because they're used to traveling to Clarkdale or going to Jerome, the Clarkdale route, going to the train, going to work on a Saturday morning, or just having their coffee. And we realize it throws off your routine. There isn't need for it. We are right between Jerome and Sedona, two meccas when it comes to tourism. The goal is to get them in Cottonwood. And so to do that, the best way we've been approached is to have events in Old Town to get people down there in droves to see, like I've been saying over and over, to see what we have to offer. So some business will do well, some business will not do well. The end result is people will be in Old Town, and it's a lasting effect for the next 3 or 4 months as people come back to say, I saw this shop, I didn't get a chance to go in, but I'm going to go in now, or I have my vehicle back so I can actually bring something back with me. Or I saw this, I didn't have the capital to invest in it right then and there. Now I do. So that's why we shut it down. Did that answer your question?
That answers my question in a roundabout way. Yeah, exactly. And we've been working together too long. History of Old Town. Can you just give some highlights, something that little snippets that people might find interesting?
Yeah, it's funny who you talk to, because if you talk to some people that have lived here for a while and you talk to some other people that have also lived here for a while, they'll say, we have a rich farming tradition, and this is how we were founded. We weren't owned by the mine, so during that time people kind of came to this area to start businesses. They can kind of go out on their own. They weren't confined to the mining organizational laws, so to speak. If you talk to another group of people, they'll say, we have a rich history in bootlegging and kind of some outlaw activity, as the West kind of had during that time. So we've capitalized that on that, because this area, you know, with Jerome having 15,000 people living there, this was kind of the area in Arizona back at that time, from what I've seen. So take that with a grain of salt. So with that said, we really try to promote the history in Old Town, the bootlegging history, the history that's going to sell, bring people to the area.
The wine industry is blowing up around here. Great area, plant grapes. You got the college involved now.
Definitely.
How many wineries are going to be involved this year? Will the college be involved this year? You know, that'd be a great maybe partnership with them.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the wineries we have, Alcantara Vineyards, beautiful place right out on Thousand Trail Roads. If you get a chance, go out there. Page Springs Cellars, Page Springs Road, Javelina Leap is also on that road. Pillsbury, Stronghold, Arizona Stronghold, Dionysian, Burning Tree, all excellent wineries. They kind of fall on that boutique winery group. They're not doing huge amounts of volumes, but it's a very specialized type of wine that they're bringing out. So those are the wineries we're going to have, and for the wine tasting portion.
That's great, Hezekiah. What is the Verde Valley Wine Consortium?
I brought this little piece of paper just in case I forgot. Okay, so the Verde Valley Wine Consortium mission statement: the mission of the Verde Valley Wine Consortium is a nonprofit organization for the overall advancement of the wine industry, tourism, economic development, and education in the Verde Valley. Its duties include collecting, distributing valuable data, information to our members, and protecting assisting the grape growers and wineries' interests in the Verde Valley. In a nutshell.
You open the Arizona Republic, you see it in a lot of magazines. Besides Eric Glomsky, because I mean, what he's done, bar none.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible.
It is.
Who are some of the other major players in the wine industry around here?
I think you got to throw Barbara into that mix with Alcantara.
Predmore, is that her last name?
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, if you haven't been out there, it's a beautiful place. I think she has she's the largest producer of grapes here locally. Now, where she stacks up to Maynard Keenan is also another big power player here in this area for as a winery and a producer. All of them have won a lot of awards, but it's those key players that have kind of promoted this industry and built it from nothing to where it is now, and it's growing leaps and bounds each year, which is pretty impressive during an economic downturn.
Is it because of the mystique of Old Town? Why has the wine portion and the tasting and everything kind of centered itself in Old Town?
That's a great question, and I think a lot of people ask that, like, what are we going to do with another winery in Old Town? It's kind of the perception of the local people here. But just like the auto industries, competition is a good thing. And then when you have them all in Old Town, that brings the wine enthusiast out, and they've done studies and they've said, wine people make this amount of dollars, and they have this amount of discretionary income to invest in restaurants, buy wine, whatever you want, trinkets. So realizing that, the city kind of said, how can we make a destination driver for this area? How can we bring people from Jerome, Sedona, Phoenix, up to this area to spend some dollars and explore what we have to offer? So one of the ways was the wineries. Let's promote this industry, let's get on its back. And also the Cliff Castle Casino Hotel is also kind of branched off of that. They were doing advertising pitches to promote the Old Town winery area and get people, where can you gamble and drink wine in the same area? Verde Valley.
There you have it, folks. November 10th, 11 to 5. Go grab another cup of coffee or your first glass of wine in the morning if you're interested in going gambling or having a glass of wine this morning. Anyway, we'll see you in a few.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting the local fire department.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition, the show that keeps you in the know of everything happening here in your community in the Verde Valley. Today we're talking wine, the history of Old Town, 89A, just about everything. We covered a brief synopsis on how Rhythm and Ribs TVR went. And I guess we're going to go ahead and continue talking about wine and Walkin on Main,
Sure.
November 10th, 11 to 5, down in Old Town Cottonwood. Entertainment. Everyone always wants to know what kind of entertainment you're going to have. And I'll tell you what, you were briefly mentioned Lou Graham. Hard ride. We had great entertainment for TVR. How are you going to stack up? What are we going to have here?
We try to mix it up for this one. And instead of rootin' tootin' country and rock and roll, we go a little towards blues, jazz, that genre of music. So one of the artists we've got is Carvin Jones. I thought he had some pretty good quotes that other musicians had said about him. Carvin Jones is a young cat out of Phoenix who I think is the next upcoming blues player. Eric Clapton said that. Carvin Jones is one of the brightest young stars on the blues scene today. Albert Collins. The new king of strings, Calvin Jones. So a couple of things that was said about Calvin, and that was by Buddy Miles. And then one of the best blues guitarists in the world by the London Survey News. He's been really compared to Jimi Hendrix. On the same playing field as Jimi Hendrix? No, I mean he was a legend, but his style, the way he performs, people have said that you can get a CD, that's great and excellent, but his live performance, bar none, is the best way to see Calvin Jones, and we're going to have him here for Walkin on Main. After him is the Tommy Dukes Band. He was born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And when you think of blues, Mississippi goes right along with it, so that's great. He's also grew up in Winslow, Arizona, started playing guitar and harmonic at age 13 on stage, covers traditional blues, R&B, and his own original songs. Tommy has entertained the blues enthusiasts all over Arizona. He's won a lot of awards. 2003, 2004, he placed second in the Phoenix Blues Society Blues Contest. 2005, Sunny Boy Blues Festival. 2006, Soul Kings won second place in the Phoenix Blues Society's Blues Contest again. So he's great reputation. And then open up for those guys, we're in the works with Cleopatra Hill. They're kind of a local blues type of band that's kind of getting their start. So we have great acts. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan has kind of played a little bit of that music throughout the breaks on our program. So get a taste.
So what'd you
for it.
call it? Rootin' Tootin' Country?
Rootin' Tootin' Country. Yes.
Along with the program, we also have a car show.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the car show, the MUHS Hot Rod Club? Because Sonny Rodriguez, I know he's no longer with the Hot Rod Club, but initially he was our first point of contact when we did this 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
How are they involved?
Mingus Union Hot Rod Club, as far as I know, that was kind of the brainchild of Sonny. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And then when he moved on, he passed it to one of his associates, Jason Nafes, I think I said his last name right. And that club, I wish they had it when I was in school. I'd have been right there. You know, they do drag racing down in Phoenix. They put on car shows by themselves up at the high school, and we felt like it was a good thing to get them involved in Walkin on Main because they have the contacts in that specific area. It's good to get kids involved, and they bring out 15 of them, so we have them to direct traffic for the cars to get down to where they need to be.
You would have made a 4.0.
I would have.
If you didn't have to take math and English and just automotive all day?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, there's no math in cars. I hope not.
How many cars typically show up?
Typically 30 to 50 cars, somewhere in between there. We always like to get more. We like to promote this as our Route 66 show because it's our 89A. It's an Arizona historic route. We kind of have the Route 66 deal up in Flagstaff if you want to go up there. And our goal is to bring cars down there because nothing's better than when they're kind of lined up down the street like that. You can kind of time warp back, snap a picture of a 1941 Willys and think, that really could have parked down here in 1941. And all these buildings are the same, so this picture, if we go black and white, would look like 1941. So it's kind of cool.
I attribute it to the Youth Commission and to you and I and the outreach, but I mean, it goes from James Ball to Sonny to Weedador to Tyler.
Yeah.
Explain the relationship with the high school and their fine arts program.
I think their fine arts program, again, if I'm not mistaken, is really growing leaps and bounds currently. Like you said, with the Weedador and Tyler Novak, it's always nice when you have teachers that are passionate about their job, and you can look at those two individuals and really see that they're passionate. They enjoy what they do and the differences they make in the youth that they're teaching. With that said, when they also have a booth at Walkin on Main in that first tent where they display some of the artists' work. And sometimes you can't tell the difference between that and the professionals. And it's really impressive. I mean, the raw talent that these kids have is unbelievable. And Tyler and Orita do their best, and they do an amazing job at developing these young youth and amazing artists. So.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. When I was reading the paper this morning, someone took a picture, and it's going to be published by Canon, I believe, but it was called Hallway of Hay Bales.
Oh, really?
It's on the front page of the Independent. Really great picture.
Wow.
Anyway, can the students sell their artwork at this event?
Yeah, we leave that up to the students. It's funny because they become very uncomfortable when people start asking them prices of their work. Most students would just give it to you because they're like, we're nobody important. So I think Orita and Tyler do a good job of trying to tell them, you know, you base your artwork on how much time do you have in it? What did your utensils cost? What did your backdrop cost? And all this kind of stuff adds up to be the price of what their artwork is. So it's interesting. I always like it when somebody asks if they could buy a piece and a student like backs up like, really?
Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, for $5.
Exactly.
Anyway, there's also another facet. I think it's for younger children, chalk art. What do you guys do with the chalk art?
The Mingus Union Fine Art Department, Tyler's department, every year, I think we started this 2 or 3 years where they do live, in your face, creating art on the sidewalk. It happens right in front of Orion Bread Company. They have a theme each year. In the past couple of years, I've kind of helped them come up with a theme. Or as Tyler said, I've kind of pigeonholed them into a theme. Because he likes to create on the whim. So you know, this year he's came to me and said, you know, we want to do it, but can you let us have free reign? And I'm like, go for it. So he's going to have free reign this year, so it'll be exciting to see what they come up with. And it is for all ages to be involved and see and get, you know, be a part of.
So we don't have a theme this year.
He has promised me it's going to be amazing. He's not letting the cat out of the bag yet, so like everyone else, I'm going to be surprised.
I saw that mural on the Maytag Laundry. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I don't know. That's huge, isn't it? Every time I see it, I'm like, geez.
Yeah, that is true. We could talk about this forever, about all the special events. I just want to once again, I mean, I know we all work together, but thank you and all of our staff who might be watching the show. I know it's been a long run the last 4 weeks. Now we're going to gear up for Walkin on Main, and we're going to make it another successful event for the community, the department, and everyone who attends, artists, everybody.
Come on down, it's free.
And ending November 10th, 11 to 5, Old Town Cottonwood.
It's a place to be.
Bring your, you said you need to bring your wallet or not?
Bring your wallet if you want, but the program's free.
Program's free.
Feel free to spend money while you're down there.
Music free. No rootin' tootin' country.
Exactly.
So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you have any additional questions, the number's been on the screen all day. That's 639-3200, area code 928. Any additional questions, H. Allen, cottonwoodaz.gov. That's H. Allen at cottonwoodaz.gov. Thanks for tuning in.